New Perspective to the Global Financial Crisis by Market Chaos Solutions Incorporated. The global financial crisis is phase 4 deflation of the world monetary cycle. According to Market Chaos Research, the first recognizable phase 4 was from 1893 to 1897. Cycle 1 was from 1929 to 1930. And Cycle 2, the global financial crisis, started in 2008. The world monetary cycle, also referred to as the money cycle, has 5 orderly phases. The first sign of approaching phase 4 deflation: in Cycle 1, housing values peaked in 1926, and in the current cycle, Cycle 2, housing values peaked in 2006. The length of the prior phase 4, the Great Depression, as determined by Market Chaos Research, is 60 months or monthly coordinates. The length of the current phase 4 deflationary period, the global financial crisis, is unknown. Cycle 1, phase 4, started on January 1929 as determined by Market Chaos Research. Cycle 2, phase 4, started January 2008 as determined by Market Chaos Research. Cycle 1, phase 4, ended December 1933 as determined by Market Chaos Research. The end of Cycle 2, phase 4 is unknown. Cycle 1, phase 4, shock number 1, the credit shock, occurred in coordinate 10, October 1929. Cycle 2, phase 4, credit shock, occurred in coordinate 10, October 2008. Cycle 1, phase 4, shock number 2, currency shock, occurred in coordinate 33, September 1931. Currency shock era is plotted between coordinate 30 and coordinate 38, June 1931 to February 1932. Could Cycle 2, phase 4, currency shock occur in coordinate 33, September 2010? Did we enter the currency shock era in coordinate 30, June 2010? Shock number 3, Cycle 1, phase 4, banking shock, occurred in coordinate 51, March 1933. Alongside shock number 3, the banking shock, is the gold shock, coordinate 52, April 1933. Market chaos researchers use macroeconomic shocks to divide the phase 4 deflation time period into 4 parts. Part 1 is the time period before shock number 1, the credit shock. Part 2 is the period between shock number 1, the credit shock, and shock number 2, the currency shock. Part 3 is the period between shock number 2, the currency shock, and shock number 3, the banking shock. Part 4 is the period post-shock 3, the banking shock. The market chaos coordinate system serves as a guide to the global financial crisis. Monthly coordinates under analysis are shaded yellow, either individually or in a series. Phase 5 monetary reform began on November 15, 2008, when world leaders gathered at the G20 summit in Washington, D.C. The global financial crisis, shock number 1, the credit shock, triggered the beginning of Phase 5 monetary reform. Coordinate 1 of Phase 5 monetary reform is plotted November 2008. Begin to chart your course through the global financial crisis today. Take a logical approach to the global financial crisis by becoming a subscriber today. Practice the art of maintaining price stability using real basis pricing on assets and debt. Learn how to account for both monetary forces, debt deflation, and currency inflation on prices. Learn easy-to-use tactics in financial record keeping suitable for the global financial crisis.